All right, we have a new chapter of One Piece. This chapter is titled Enma, which of course is the name of the sword that they're proposing to give to Zoro in exchange for him demanding to be running around with a national treasure. This one is also a national treasure, but it's not quite as famous, so there's going to be less of an outcry. I'm sure that Zoro wants both, and that he wants to somehow upgrade to a four-sword style, perhaps with two swords in his mouth that he's biting just the very outside parts of the scabbard of each of them. I'm sure he's had fantasies of this. I'm sure he's tried it out to see how feasible it is. It's interesting. I've been rereading Wano from the start because the physical volumes are coming out, and I buy all of those. And all of the sword talk has been kind of there from the start. Like, there's been all sorts of discussions about various legendary blades that have wound up in Wano. So much so that I'm having a hard time keeping track of what Zoro has. Luffy for a while had the cursed blade Kisetsu 1 or something that he got from the Tengu that Zoro kept demanding he give to him, but I'm not sure what ended up happening with that. I can't remember. Zoro, of course, had the legendary Sushui, or whatever it's called, that he got from Ryoma taken away from him, and that's in the possession of the Fox. The Fox monk who's guarding all the weapons. Uh, then there's, of course, the two blades that Zoro already had at this point, whose names I can't remember. We'll just get into it. But yeah, there's been a lot of development. What I'd like to see is just at the end a nice like loadout description of like this is what Zoro has now. This is the backstory of all these swords. Because they all have a history. Oda does a good job kind of weaving this history throughout them. Like everybody remembers the scene, right, where he sees the one cursed blade in way back in Rogue Town, and he throws it up in the air. See what's stronger, this sword's curse or my luck? He sticks his arm out, and as the sword is spinning super fast and falling, it just like weaves around his arm. Ooh, ooh, I love it. Okay, okay. Anyways, so Beige is stopping at some island to stock up on food. This must be a known island. This kind of looks like the Colosseum. This sort of looks like Dressrosa. So maybe we'll get to see what Dressrosa is up to, since Luffy and the gang left. Kawamatsu will refrain from beating the others. Sentiment is forbidden before the battle. Okay, so Lady Hiyori, of course, being the other surviving royal of the Kozuki clan, Momo's sister, declining to meet with any of the other warriors. Sediment is forbidden before a battle. Interesting. Meanwhile, way back in Kuri, this is like where the whole story starts. This is Tengu Man's house. She's in a safe place. He has such a terrible memory of her. He's thinking of it so fondly, but he's just kicking him in the head. Can I get your mind out of the past? She's 18 years older than you now. Yup. It's not such a fond memory when she would probably just knock your head clean off. Sanji, so desperate. And he cleared it up. See, it was confiscated from Luffy, Taro, and Udon. So Luffy had it all the way up until he lost to Kaido. And then it was confiscated, blah, blah, blah. Sure. Tenguyama Itetsu. Katana Blacksmith of Wano. These swords on to you too. Ooh, so who is getting it? Zoro is getting one, and the Lady Samurai is getting one, whose name eludes me right now. Ha ha ha. Ame no Habakiri that cuts down the heavens, and Enma that splits the earth to the bottom of hell. Hell yeah. Alright. They're both excellent grade swords. I'd like to see, this is probably an article I can find on the One Piece wiki or something. A breakdown of all the swords that they've revealed and all the ones that we know the classes of. How many are left? I feel like of the top grade swords, of which there's only 13, I think we've seen remarkably few. Like, it's assumed that Mihawk's gigantic black blade is one of them. He refers to it as the finest in the world, and I feel like he would know what he's talking about. But what else? Maybe the sword that guy in the Five Elder Stars, you know, the guy that kind of looks like Gandhi. He's always carrying a sword. I could imagine that being up there. I don't know. Anyways. Whoa, so they're trying to give it to Momonosuke and his sister. So that makes sense, right? Because those are the descendants of Odin. They give it Enma to Zoro. Okay. Before or after, only one man has ever tamed Enma. That man was Kozuki Oden. I wonder, like, we still haven't had a substantial flashback. We've had lots of little flashbacks for Wano. But we've never had one that showed Odin in his prime. Which I kind of... Holy crap! Whoa! Okay, hold on. Sorry, I got distracted because I glanced down at the rest of the page. I was going to talk about how I'd really like to see Odin in his prime and, you know, and see just how strong he was, how cool he was, see his feats of valor and stuff. All seems very cool. Maybe eventually we'll get that. Maybe at that critical moment right before they step foot on Onigashima, they're going to have a long flashback of the glory days of Wano. Blah, 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 blah. It doesn't matter right now. Zoro just chopped away a substantial part of the coastline in something that looks like it's more in place in Looney Tunes. And I mean, this is a classic One Piece shot that something huge gets cut. There's like the glaciers in the battle with Whitebeard and the Marines. There's that scene in Punk Hazard where Law just cuts through everything. Ooh, maybe Law's sword is up there. But it's still, I don't know, it still has a really good impact for me. This is still what I really like to see. And then Zoro's arm is like wilting away. And Kinemon, it seems to have predicted that this would happen. That it draws so much energy. And it looks like Haki energy because his arm is turning that kind of Haki black. And look at this energy like swirling off the sword, all the steam and stuff. This is nuts. But this is like Zoro's ideal sword. It's like, oh my god, it cuts things and it hurts me? Back in the day, I had to usually manually cut myself. Now the sword is just automatically hurting me? What? Whoa. Exceeds the wielder's Ryo on its own, that's what they call. Haki. Slices more than needed. Well done. A normal swordsman would be a mere husk right now. Take this one. Ooh, I love how appreciative Kawamatsu is of Zoro. From one legendary swordsman to another. He's like, hey, this guy's a big deal. Okay. 3 days until the raid. Woo! Oh, I'm so excited. This arc. It's been building and building and building. So many things have been happening. So many little mini arcs within it. All building up to this. According to the intel I heard, the Animal Kingdom pirates have about 20,000 soldiers. Shogun Orochi's possession holds around 10,000. In other words, we should expect Onigashima to contain 30,000 enemies on that day. This is kind of feeling like Ainz Lobby, you know? This talk about numbers of enemies, numbers of allies. This feeling of outright war. I hope we get to see some, just like Ainz Lobby, it did both sides so well. That feeling of like chaos in a big battle type arc, and then still some of the best like one-on-one fights with dedicated focus that we've seen in the entire series. The fact that it did both. That's what I really want here. Everybody gets fighting, there's a lot of chaos, and then eventually the top tier enemies start squaring off against the top tier allies, and then we just watch those fights for like a few chapters on end. That would be nice. Okay. And I like this too, the fact that it is on the island, so they can go completely nuts. They're not going to destroy any allies of Wayno, not going to destroy any poor common folk. Okay. Meanwhile, the shipbuilding crew, Frankie and company, have been working tirelessly, I'm sure. I want to be able to ferry 100,000 men. How many people will we get? Ooh! There's still so many allies that could like show up at the last minute that would be super hype. Like even showing up like during the battle. Like we left off meeting with Marco, feeling like it was very unlikely that Marco was going to change his mind. He just wants to hang out at that village and take care of Whitebeard's big cows. But he could change his mind. He could change his mind. The Cat Viper could show up. There could be a ton of minks rolling up any minute. Who knows? Who knows? There could be allies in the Straw Hat Pirate Alliance, although I'm not sure how they would know about it. Anything could happen. Okay, meanwhile, Luffy is beating the crap out of everything. Getting more training from Hyogoro. So it's kind of interesting. Like, he already had, of course, the most substantial training arc with Raleigh. But it's like as he powers up more, as he unlocks new gears and forms and everything, it's very in character that he doesn't actually use them well. Like he hasn't really thought through the best use of something like Gear 4. So Hyogoro, it makes sense that he's getting these training arcs, bit by bit by bit. I was told not to say Sunachi. Something the old guy in my village told me. I've never said it myself before. Sunachi, what? What does that mean? I don't get that scene at all. Maybe someone can explain it to me. Sunachi. What? I don't know. But whatever. This is cute. They're both out here training. Zoro, of course, a infrequent sight these days in Three Sword style. 2 days until the raid. Chopper, Luffy, and all of the powerful prisoners of the labor camp. Total manpower at about 4,200. So yeah, Law's crew should be getting involved. Law, of course, having a little tiff with Hawkins right now. Nothing we can do for those captured in the capital. We don't arrest the family members who dared to protest. Yes, this is the cages that have been out there for a long time. They just want out. Okay, it's happening. It's all happening. It's kind of too. I feel really bad for these samurai that are locked up. You know, like they want to join in when everyone's risking their lives. They feel really pathetic. Plus, I just want to see who they are as characters. There's all these samurai. It's not like we're going to have a shortage of cool, badass samurai to follow during this arc, but what about these guys? What about these specific guys? What's up with them? I want to know. Look at this guy with the little beard that kind of looks like a flower and the curly mustache. Like he's probably super strong. He probably has some bizarre cutting technique where they turn into, I don't know, stars. I don't know. We have to find out. Okay, it's the day before the raid. Let's get there before everyone else. All right, so at long last, they're returning to retrieve the Sunny, which Luffy deposited like 2 chapters after landing. It's really fun to reread an arc at this point, you know? I hope the other volumes of it, well, it wouldn't... There's no way all the volumes of Wano are going to come out in English before the Wano arc finishes. That, of course, is extremely impossible chronologically. But I hope a few more do. That would be a nice opportunity. Okay. All right. They're all planning on meeting up. Ooh, and we haven't seen much of this. There's all these gigantic factories always dotting the landscape. In many ways, the most reprehensible enemy, the thing doing the most damage to the country as a total. But we haven't seen much inside of it. We haven't seen these laborers. The rumor that Lord Yasui is covering for the Akasaya Samurai is actually the signal for a real raid. Oh, this is so exciting because they're so wrong. All the skeptics are going to be proven wrong. Oh my god, there better be like 5 chapters of just celebrating in a restored Wano. I just want to see Wano at its full glory with everyone happy and well fed. Ah, oh, we're so close. The big raid. Nobody can come along and put up a fight against Kaido. Ooh, I don't know about that. Meanwhile, 7 samurai with red scabbards, 1 shinobi, and 1 little lord. The sun is at its zenith. The sun at its zenith burns bright and hot, despite the lingering clouds. These are not vengeful ghosts come to repay the slaughter of their liege after 20 years. Oh. I see what's happening. Yes. Set off across the barren ground, crunching like winter frost under the salt. I didn't know it was a 2-page spread. I should have counted and realized that they're not showing everybody. They cast 9 shadows crisp upon the earth. And win the fight will build fancier graves. Aww. They put Yasui and Pedro. So I guess the minks and such are showing up afterwards because these really have to be the leaders. These guys have to explain what's going on and kind of get the people behind them. Meanwhile, Zoro learning a bit more about his sword from the guy who forged one of them, Kitetsu 3. Using it most likely feels familiar to you. Must be some twist of fate. Ah. Whoa. Whoa, whoa. Okay, that's kind of cool. I feel like there could be even more behind this. Like, could that blacksmith be like Zoro's instructor? No, I don't think the timing works out. If he left this land over 50 years ago, but he forged it over 50 years ago, like while he was still in Wano, which is why, of course, the Tengu knows about it. Yeah, never mind. But this is, even if this is the only thing that comes of it, I think this kind of reverence, this kind of history is really nice for them to include. Okay, Luffy blowing up trees without even touching them. Just to show off. Sure. So, Orochi seems to have figured out where they're going. That the additional legs means Tokage, the lizard port. But they've got a pretty difficult choice to make, even if they know they're getting attacked. Then they have to split their defense resources at 2 spots. To me, it makes more sense to consolidate your defenses as much as possible. Otherwise, it's like, you know, they clear off everybody that was trying to stop them from going to the port. When they get to the port, they can recruit, they can recover and stuff. The enemy is still down. And then they just sail off to a depleted fleet and Onigashima. Ooh, wait a minute. Okay. Again, I'm getting tricked by these non-spreads. Yeah, this to me just looks like it could be 1 page, but whatever. Okay, so Enma is not yet forged into a black blade. Depending on you, its rank might yet be raised. So the black blade of Mihawk wasn't always black, I guess, and that it was a constant infusion of Haki into it that allowed it to like rank up, I guess, and become stronger. But when they refer to these legendary tiers of swords, it's always about like when they were forged, I think. So I don't think that's like how the sword rankings work. Anyways, Law doing who knows what. Oh, and it's the end of Act 2. Come now, gather around. The sky is clear over the flower capital where the cherry blossoms fall. The day of the fire festival is here at last. And a battle that will affect the fate of the fairy world is about to begin. Woo! So, do you think we'll have a little interlude between the acts, as I believe we have done before at the end of Act 1? I think we return to the Reverie for a little bit, which I would really like to see more of. A flashback to what happened immediately after we left the Reverie the first time, and the Revolutionary Army was about to, like, if you want to talk about a battle that'll affect the very fate of the world, like, we're there's one already happening. That would be pretty crazy to do that back to back into the gigantic climactic battle of Wayno. But I'm down. I'm down for anything. I'm. Oh man! All right, crazy, crazy stuff. It's all really happening. All right, let's. I can't, like, it's so crazy that we're actually in Wayno after all this time. This is an arc that Oda has wanted to do since before One Piece. You know, when he had that story about the samurai fighting a dragon. You don't think that he wanted to make a samurai arc in One Piece ever since that moment? Ever since he started One Piece and he was thinking about the different arcs he could do? There was definitely a samurai arc on the table, and now, after 900 plus chapters, it's happening. Okay, okay. All right, let's just look forward to more. Bye bye for now.